Hey everybody, welcome to Challenge Centric. My name is Daniel and I am so pleased to be joined by the beautiful and so sweet Naya Moore. Hey Naya.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me. This has been a long time coming.
Definitely. She doesn't respond to the DM, so you gotta hit up on Instagram.
Don't do that. I don't ever go on my Twitter DM. And if I do, it's like a rare day in hell. If you want to contact me, number one, email. Number two, you can go to beautyandthefeast.com. My email is also there. Or Instagram, comment somewhere on my page. Maybe use a lot of emojis so I can see it. Or send me a DM. But the DMs are getting very overwhelming and I have ADHD. So sometimes I just peek in there and then I'm overwhelmed and I just check back out of it. But yeah, just email me. It's, let me see, what email do I want to give people if I want to like throw one out right now?
Multiple emails, wow.
I have this one that I use, but I can't remember the password, so I don't want to send people there. And then I want to another email, like, I don't know, Ask Naya or something. But oh wait, I real Naya Moore at gmail.com.
All right. Okay, cool.
I think I remember that password, so just email me there. But also just send me a DM on Instagram, Twitter, like this guy.
Yes. You know I had to clown you with that one, but no, but yeah, man, it's so great to have you on the channel. Like I mentioned, this isn't like my go-to thing. I don't breathe and sleep doing this, but I love doing it still because it gets the public, the challenge world, to see you for who you really are. So yeah, I want to ask you a few questions, and let's see what we come up with. You know, I can already tell it's about to be full of jokes. I like to laugh, so don't mind me. I'm just joking. Okay, so you started. We were introduced to you on Real World Portland. Before we reach there, I just want you to give everybody who Naya Moore is. Like, what's your educational background, your athletics background, anything related to that.
Okay. So I went to Howard University. I majored in journalism. My passion was writing. I have not really done much with that. I also Division I volleyball, full scholarship, Howard University. Very thankful. Paid for my entire education. I was raised in Georgia, born in Los Angeles. I recently relocated back to LA 3 years ago. And what was it? This is ADHD. Okay, so
I got you.
You said tell us about my athletic background, and you said
education.
Okay, stop. No, get this. Okay, so my education, I went to Howard University, journalism, and
Take two.
But volleyball at Howard.
But no, but I wanted to. I actually it could go anywhere after Howard.
Okay. After Howard, my friends, we all sat around and we talked about what we were gonna do. Some of my friends were saying they were going to law school, some going to medical school or dentistry. And I jokingly, but it's crazy that it actually happened, I go, oh, I'm gonna be a cocktail waitress and go in the real world. I, unlike all of my friends, was not interested in getting a serious job. And, I felt like we've been in school every year of our lives since kindergarten. Now, what we do after this is optional. So, I be so serious. Like, I wanna have fun, I wanna party, I wanna get a job that's not that serious, or at least as I thought it wasn't that serious. So I decided to be a waitress. And everyone thought I was crazy because what I did was I turned down 3 job opportunities, job offers, or it was 2 internships and 1 job offer. And they were with big networks and PR companies and sports teams. And I just was like, no, I don't want to do it, because I had done the internships and I felt like I'm in no rush. I'm living my life for me, and I don't have to do something because everybody else is doing stuff and navigating through life at a different speed. I just decided that I wanted to pause and breathe and be a 21-year-old and 22-year-old and a 23 or 24 or 25. And I thought I was going to be happier, and it ended up being like 6 straight years of like just aimlessly going through life with no plan and winging it. And as crazy as it was, and like bumped my head along the way because of it, I don't regret it, because where I am now, all those odd jobs that I have during that time, which were waitress, concierge, private cook, nanny, executive assistant, housekeeper, all those things that I did ultimately encompassed everything that I do now, and in the dream job that I always wanted, which is being a private jet flight attendant. I mean, my dream job, not the dream job I always wanted, because I never dreamed of actually working. I was hoping that I was a housewife to a really powerful Black man, but you know.
Hey, well, I know, I'm rich.
But so I did all those things, after college. I went on The Real World, obviously, started doing the challenges. That was all during that period of me just like bouncing around from different jobs and staying there for 5 minutes and getting fired or quitting. And after I had a hiatus from the show, I haven't done it. This was the first time I did it in 8 years. During that hiatus, I found myself, and I had a lot of time to really figure out who it is that I wanted to be, who I didn't want to be. And I had to heal and go to therapy and put in the work off camera and do it without recognition, because it was for me. And I mean, I just never would have imagined that I would have came back to this show, because it just wasn't a desire of mine. I felt like, everything in life has an expiration date, and I'm totally a person who surrenders to that. And so when they called me, I initially was like, there's no way. Like, I'm very, very, very appreciative of the offer, but I'm absolutely not going back. And yeah, I mean, it's so wild back doing this, because if you would have told me, we filmed that in October or September, October, if you would have told me even a month before, because I didn't know until a month before that I was going on the show, that I would have been like, you're crazy. Like, there's no way. And no, so it's just, everything happens for a reason. And I will never say never ever again, because I literally tweeted I was never coming back. And I was like, people stop asking me. I'm not doing it. I'll never be on that again. And sure enough, I mean, that was the same year that I tweeted that, I ended up going on the show.
And here we are. But no, thank God for whatever inkling in you said, hey, let's get back. You did it. So I was, when the cast was released, I was like, what? Y'all got Nia on there? Like, what's good? Like, let's go.
Yeah, people know this if they watch other interviews. The only reason I truly did it is because Jordan told me he was doing it. And okay. I was like, I felt safe knowing that that my friend, someone I love, is going to be there. Otherwise, I would have been like, no, I don't trust this environment. I don't know what this show is all about. I really like my career. My career is one that, requires me to kind of, I'm essentially the help. It's like, I didn't think I could be on television pursuing certain things in a world that the people that I service are kind of in that world too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in terms of like public figure spaces. So I wasn't really I didn't have a desire. I didn't see a need to include that in my life as, the direction that it's going now. But when Jordan told me he was going, I'm like, well, that's crazy, because I thought All Stars was for like like older, like vets, and we're
You're like,
like,
I ain't old, but
OG,
I'm a.
the OG, I won't say older, the OGs. I thought all sorts for the OGs. I was
I
very
got
confused
you, man.
why I got the invitation, but I also was like, well, like if he's going and I have the flexibility to do it with in my own life, like, yeah, I would love to do this with him again. And it was so beautiful because it turned out that we were back to the same country where he and I left off 7 years ago. It was such a full circle moment.
Wow.
Um, it was the same country where we lost, where it was our last season with Dia Midnight. It,
Wow.
it was just a very full circle moment for both of us. And to know that whether you guys observe it or can sense it or not, for me to know and for him to know that we are literally not a fraction of the same people we were the last time we were there. Like, we've actually evolved into better human beings. It was just like amazing. Like, you can't yourself, right? Like, the truth about you. And it was one of those moments where I just felt like so weightless in that environment next to my friend, or someone whom I would have never imagined that he and I would get to the place that we are in our lives now. So cheers to us.
No, but
Growth.
that's the beauty of, yeah. I literally was gonna do this growth. Like, that's
Mhm.
the beauty of growth. And now that we're talking about Jordan, to keep it real, I was never a big fan of Jordan based
Mhm.
on what was portrayed on the screen. And
Yeah.
I respected him as a competitor and stuff like that. And when all the racial stuff were going around, and then people were getting canceled left, right, and center and stuff like that. And then you and him were more in a, I guess, amicable stage in your lives. I said, listen, if Nia and Jordan went through this thing and they're good now and they've made amends, why is the rest of the world still hanging on to something that the two primary characters in this story
Yeah.
have already thrown in the garbage and said, you know what, let's leave that alone. That's just that. I just wish the world would just take some context clues and just be like, listen, they've gotten over it. They've had their off-camera conversations. Respect that and move on. People have tendencies to change, and people can realize when wrong is wrong and move on. So in that vein, I was like, okay, cool. Now, I don't know if Jordan would ever grace this channel. It would be great to talk with him, just one-on-one and stuff like that. But that's just my take on it, on everything. And until I could talk to him one-on-one to be like, okay, let me get in your brain, then I could make a final assessment and be like, okay, Daniel, throw that version of Jordan away.
You know what? So one of the I definitely put in a word for you as well for him to come on your channel. I think that would be great, because he's not one that is afraid to answer those questions. And one of the things that I thought, people who had watched the Real World and saw the after shows, even though that is not one of the things that is noted, like, I don't even think you can find our after show or our reunion on YouTube, but you can find the fights, ugly stuff, because in those after shows years ago, that was 9 years ago,
Yeah.
admitted that I didn't hear him call me the N-word. I didn't, and Marlon was kind of like, Marlon never said he heard that. And I don't know where it took a turn where it was, he used that word. I don't know. I just knew that I didn't care to find, because at the time, like, we were in a streaming match, so I didn't hear him say it. I would have flat out told you guys he said it. I never heard it. And so, it was one of those things where I was like, well, if it's being said that he said this, then I'm going to let him die on this sword. Because at the time, I hated his guts. So it's like, yeah, that's just, I would throw anything on top of him because we were at war. And so, it was one of those things where it was heated. Like, he was, very, very, very drunk. We were both in, like, really bad spaces in our lives and, like, willing to destroy each other in the process instead of, like, facing our own demons. And, we also were kids. Like, we were 22 23 at the time. And about you, but like I was a tremendously late bloomer in terms of maturity. Like it didn't start clicking for me until like 29, honestly. I'm 33 now, but it was like, it really didn't start clicking. I mean, I did a lot of growth from 25 until 29, but like in terms of adult maturity, like femininity, all that stuff, like that stuff didn't click for me until later. And so, I had to weather my storms and go through a lot of things and figure out like what I didn't want to be and unlearn a lot of bad behavior. And so with Jordan, it's like when all this stuff kind of cancel culture and whatnot, I found it very problematic because here I am, someone who's happily removed from this whole space. And I didn't really care at that point, like what people thought of me as it pertained to like my public persona, because my TV persona, because I knew I was not the same person. I care to prove that to anybody. But what I felt was emotionally invested in was Jordan being called something that he's not. And like, I am not a person who can ever be a bystander to I can't. That's just me. I'm gonna get involved. I mean, that was the whole reason why me and him were
yes.
at the real world, is because I was sticking up for Jessica.
Yes.
Me and him were cool from the minute I met him.
And I love that about you still.
Yeah. So I saw this happening and I'm like, wait a minute. I understand that like cancel culture is appropriate in certain cases, but like in this situation, what we're not gonna do is call this man a racist. That is blasphemous. It's completely untrue. It's unfounded. Like he is not. He has never been. I've never witnessed anything that was racist. However, in that fight that we had in the Real World House, we both said and did things to each other that was cancelable. I called him things that were to this day would be cancelable, and he didn't call me the N-word. It definitely didn't call me the N-word with an ER. It just did not happen. I think at the time in that fight, I was calling him the N-word profusely. Insanely drunk. He was repeating a lot of things I was saying back to him. Not just that, a lot of the things that I was saying, he was mocking me. And I don't know if that was the situation where it flew out there, because I didn't even catch it really. I was, Marlon's the one that kind of told me like, get overheard or this or that. But yeah, like I just couldn't, like, this is someone, people don't know that like Jordan's family adopted 2 Black boys. He grew up with 2 Black brothers. So like, we're just not gonna do, can't even, it's just so not true. And so I knew that, and I learned that years and years and years ago. But at the time, I just thought, well, everybody sees us together. They know I wouldn't be with someone who I thought disrespected me or didn't have respect for me or my people. I just kind of assumed naively that everyone had like done their research and went onto the after shows. But then when all this stuff resurfaced in 2020, I did my research and I'm like, there's none of this information anywhere. If you only saw what happened on the show, you would have nothing to go off on in terms of like what it really is and what the truth of that fight, what really transpired and what was really said and what wasn't said. And not just taking clips and making an opinion based on what we were saying to each other and about each other in the battle 9 years ago. And so, yeah, I was bothered tremendously. And Jordan was, he was like, Nia, it's okay. You don't have to do anything. And I'm like, no, I do. Like, now I'm involved because I was the person who and essentially created this smear campaign saying that you were these things that you are not and have never been. And I know that you're not a person who will fight for yourself, but like, it's my responsibility to fight for you because I know you would do the same for me. And at the end of the day, I was the one who was responsible for that whole smear campaign and allowing those allegations to just fly. And I thought I had cleaned it up and had told the truth out loud enough times for people to know that that was just not the case, but it wasn't. So yeah, I popped back out in 2020. We did an interview together where we talked about it. I don't know how many people saw or heard it or received it. Some people still didn't care. They were like, her for defending him. And I'm like, all right, well, there's nothing I can do after that. The truth will eventually prevail. But when it came time for me to do All Stars, and just to know that he was invited, I'm like, all right, this is not just an opportunity for me to go do something with a friend where like where our full circle redemption story is going to be put on display and it's authentic and we get to do it in a space together. But also, like, I felt like if I can do something for him, you know, I would do that. And when we went in the house, when I moved into the house, there were multiple castmates who felt like, yeah, we heard about him. What's up with him? You know, or like Black castmates. We heard about the situation between you and, like, we need to talk about that. And we had those conversations, and those men confronted him about it. And he honorably, even though he shouldn't have been taking a lot of the pressure and the heat that he was taking, because it was founded in lies, he took it and he explained the situations, and he didn't get frustrated. He's like, listen, like, it's okay. Like, I was the one that was more emotional about it. Like, I feel like this is so unfair. Like, I did this to you. I'm partially responsible. Like, I'm the one that needs to clean this up. And he never made it. He's like, you don't have to do anything. And he always reassured me that regardless of what happened, we both did things. We both paid the price for it. I couldn't get hired in my industry for almost 2 years. And, you know, people thought I was a mean girl, a mean person. And, you know, he was punished in his personal life. And people, you know, thought, you know, he was just an outright villain. And so he was willing to take what was coming down the pipeline. And I just thought that a lot about him. Like, he didn't play the victim at all. But yeah.
But I appreciate you just letting me know and letting everybody else know when they see this, what it was and what you had to go through. And I mean, it's pretty honorable of Jordan to, you know, explain himself and to have those conversations, you know, with those cast members, the males that you're referring to. I'm obviously going to assume the Black male castmates of the show, because I think anybody would be, if it was me in the house, I'd have been like, hey, like, what's up with this? Because I've seen this, and then, you know, let's talk to see like what's good, because you know, I would want to know what you thinking of here before I can make my assessment of you to be like, okay, so it is true that, you know, this, that, and the next. But like I said, we don't get to see the 100% 360 like full view of things. We only get little short clips. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So do you keep in touch with anybody from Real World Portland other than Jordan?
Yeah. So me and Jessica are obviously very close. Me and Jordan are very close. Me and Avery talk a lot on Instagram. I just spoke to Johnny Riley. Just congratulating him on, you know, his beautiful family and his beautiful life that he's created for himself.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I did. I haven't talked to Marlon in a long time, but I'm for sure going to reach out to him soon.
He's the first person that did this the channel,
a stand-up dude, man. Like, it's interesting. Like, I'm like, that's weird that, like, he and I didn't remain close over the years, because, like,
I would have thought so. Yeah.
This, you know what I mean? Like, me and I on the phone every day in some capacity. And so it's just interesting that me and Marlon didn't really connect. But to me, it's like, it doesn't even matter. Like, there's no time like the present, you know? And I know that he was supposed to join the last podcast that I was on. He was supposed to come in on a surprise. So I'm just gonna reach out to him in the DM, and we're gonna have to meet him.
In the Instagram DM, right? No, Mom, but yeah, that would be cool if you could even link up here on back on the channel. Now that I've had both of you on the channel for some like little.
What I'm like hoping for, there's two things I want to happen. One, I feel like Real World Portland needs a homecoming. I feel like the homecoming would be so good, because there's so many things that, like, the producers just don't know, like, about, like, what's going on with this group. And so I feel like it's no time like the present. I know they want to tell, like, the older stories, like, in chronological order, but I feel like we need to do this one right now, because it's a lot of stuff happening. So I'm gonna, like, draft up a pitch and send it to them, and, like, the worst they can say is what I want to see happen is Battle of the Seasons.
we here. We here. We right
Yeah.
here. Okay? We right here. Because literally I was saying, how do we not have another battle of the seasons? And we have seasons like Portland who haven't been on, Key West, Paris, Philadelphia. It's so much. It's Las Vegas, and not just combining Las Vegas, the first one and the second one. It's so much great explosion. It's so much good seasons out there that they could do another one. So I feel as if your season in particular would be that would be a powerhouse. Okay, powerhouse. You, Avery, Marlon, and Jordan, hands down.
Even if we did 3 guys, 3 girls, or I don't know what they did in the last battle of the season. If it was just 4, was it 4?
Yeah, it was 4.
Yeah, it would probably be me and Avery for sure. And then I would say it could be Jordan and Johnny, or Johnny and Marlon, or Marlon and Jordan, or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all 3 of them are like great competitors. So that would be, hard to pick between the 3 of them. But I think
was lucky for me on Free Agents, man. He was getting the luck of the Irish, man. That man was skating through. I was like, but I ain't gonna clown him too much though. But for sure, Marlon and Jordan. You see how Marlon look? Like, Marlon is a beast. Like, that man stay in the gym. So he needs another shot at the challenge for sure. So hopefully they cast him.
Yeah.
That would be great. But yeah, Portland season would be dominant. I think it would be dominant. And it would be good to see the new dynamic based on what we left off with your season. But I guess that's what you were talking about for the homecoming. So I guess that could be for that. But yeah, challenge wise, yeah, Jordan is a beast in the challenge. Like, love him or hate him, you can't deny the man's capabilities in terms of athletics. It's just, he's an unstoppable force. But fun fact, I haven't watched All Stars 3 as yet. So I don't know what happened as yet. I haven't watched any of it, and I probably shouldn't even be saying that as an interviewer and as a challenge.
Why have you watched this?
Well, I don't have Paramount Plus.
You want to borrow my password? How are you? Hey,
Naya, hold up. You would give me a password?
Hell yeah! First of all, listen, brother. You know how Black people are. I'm watching Paramount on one of my best friends' account because obviously I'm on the. You know how? Come on.
Yeah, you know how we do it though. You know how we do.
One password for 50 people.
No, I'd appreciate that though. Because for me, I watch it in other means. I'm not gonna say how I watch the show. But yeah, I watch it. But I just haven't gotten around to it as yet. But if you would give me that password, I'd appreciate that though. I'd appreciate that. But I see little clips here and there. I don't even know if you're still on the show at this point, but I'm gonna say yes that you are, because I'm rooting for you heavy.
Before you interview any of the others, you're gonna have to binge watch it.
Yeah. See, like I tell you, with work and stuff like that, it's been so much. So when you said, yeah, let's do this for today, I was like, come on, I can't miss this. So I was like, I don't care if I ain't watch it yet. I'm just gonna do the interview and get there. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I don't care. But yes. So back to your real world season. It literally was so much to unpack there. You probably told these stories 1,000,000,001 times over and over. But yes. So I'm not gonna really touch too much in the nitty gritty of things with that. But I just want to say, well, I want to ask, what difference was it for you between your real world season and your challenge season, and then coming back for All Stars? Can you give me some similarities, some differences, your experiences in general?
I would say my experiences on the real world and the first two challenges, it was highly stressful. The environments were toxic, at least for me, and I also created toxic environments. Not the whole time, but just generally, it was like kind of left an unsavory taste in my mouth. And when I walked into All Stars, it was just like there wasn't an ounce of toxicity in the room at all, ever. Things that happened that were not related to me, and I had to take off my superhero cape and let things play out that had nothing to do with me and mind my business, even though I just have never been comfortable being a bystander to people getting picked on. I had to really control myself because I wanted to get involved a lot. But I didn't get the outcome I wanted the last time I did that. So I just decided to handle things the way a mature woman would. And ultimately things worked out as they should have. But I would just say the house on All Stars, it's a lot more fun because, and I just presume because of one or two things, everybody's older. The majority of the cast, so 99% of the cast is older. They have families, they have careers, they have things they want to lose. They have things that they don't want to lose, right? And when you are a person who walks through life with to lose, there's certain places that you won't go. There's certain lows you won't stoop down to. There's certain things you don't have a desire to engage in. And I think that's what was one of the biggest components as to why it was such a easy environment to be in. I walked into that house having 2 months of extreme seasonal depression prior. And I had a ton of social anxiety in the house, just because I'm more of an introvert now. And I like my personal space and my solitude. Even though I like to be the life of the party and throw parties and do all this stuff and cook for people and all this, but I am a person who likes to be alone a lot. And so being in a house with 30 people with no music, no exit, any way to exit the game and decompress, you're just there. And so it was very stressful in that aspect. But the people in the house, whenever I finished crying, because I cried a lot, I would go in the bathroom and sit in the bathtub and just cry whenever I felt like I was just social anxiety overload. But then I would come back out to a house full of people who also were having a little social anxiety or had families that they missed and had jobs and things that they had put on pause that they were worried about. And we all were faced emotionally, and it felt safe enough to be that. I cried a lot, and I've never felt like my crying was being misconstrued as weakness or being ungrateful for the opportunity. Everybody was in the same space. So that was the one thing that I loved, as opposed to the other times in the other environments and the other shows that I was on wasn't necessarily the case.
So, okay, so it's fair to say that Hurricane Naya is she dormant, or is she buried? Is in the backyard somewhere, or she's still there?
She's a nice summer, peaceful rain shower that only stays for about 5 to 10 minutes in the middle of the night, or if she comes out during rainbow at the end of it. That's who I am now. But that hurricane is definitely, it's dormant and has been for many years now.
Okay.
But, dormant means asleep, doesn't mean dead. So, you just gotta keep it cute.
I'll put it on mute, right? I forget where I had it from. But yeah, man, I know you work so much on yourself, and I'm so proud, and it's so great to see you in this place, man. Look at you, man. You're so beautiful. you smiling at a air, like skin glowing, just looking like a little stock over here, man. No, but I appreciate that, because for me too, like, try to work on myself daily. Being self-aware is so important,
Yeah.
because if you're not aware, then you can't act on improving yourself or making things better, because you always think that you're right or nothing is wrong with you. So having that self-awareness is so important, because it takes solid friends to call you out on your crap,
Yeah.
too. You need a solid group of people around you to keep it real, to keep it 100 with you, not people who trying to blow smoke up your hip, to just be like, oh yeah, this, that, and the next. No, you need real people around you to let you know that, hey, that wasn't cool, or hey, maybe you should look at this. And you as yourself should be like, if I really value this person, I consider this person a real friend.
Yes.
Maybe I should introspect, reflect, look at myself and be like, okay, is this something that I need to work on? Especially if multiple people are telling you the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know what common denominator. Like, a lot of times it's easy for us to like play the victim, or to think that everybody else is just conceiving like who we are and stuff. And it's like, no, like, if multiple people are telling you that like this is an area of improvement that you should, kind of focus on.
Yeah.
Everybody can't be lying, and then you're the one that's like, and I used to be the most defensive, sensitive queen, because I felt like I always knew I had a good heart. So even when I made horrible choices, I would be defensive enough. I would be so defensive because I knew my heart was still pure.
Yeah.
Even though I made bad decisions that had negative consequences that were rooted in things that were not pure, I was defensive on trying to justify why I did something, as opposed to just taking the constructive criticism, the tough love, and evolving into a better person for it. And at one point, I just decided I'm living life being this way, and I'm not getting the outcome I want. So I need to surrender to that and then do the work. And I thank God that I was able to see that years ago, and to surrender to it, and not just keep walking through life delusional, hoping that I get a different outcome and being the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a journey. Like, you don't ever arrive to a place of like perfection, or, oh, you're just like this perfect human being who has no flaws, who can't become better, who can evolve into something greater. That's just not the human experience. You can always rise higher and elevate in every aspect of your life. And so I'm thankful that people see, what I've been working on the last decade, but I also know that I have a long way to go still. So.
And with that too, accountability is a big factor too. Like you're saying, like we mess up daily, but it's an accountable adult that can say, hey, maybe that wasn't a good move. And you could be able to own your actions and then try to make things better from that point on. And people who can't be accountable, I have a short fuse for that, because it's like, for me, it's like, come on, man, like you ain't always right. Like, everything, you're not perfect, but people walk around thinking that, that ish don't stink. And it's like, come on, like, like let's not do that. Let's not do that. But
we've all done it. We've all tried that approach to life and to our problems. We all have, whether like you can remember the time or not. It's like at some point, like you said, like with accountability, it's like your accountability, I believe, lives at a fork in the road. And so you have to choose which way you're going to go. Yeah. So it's hard, especially when, you're talking about human beings. If you've been I was a certain way for 25 years, really 27 years before I really decided, okay, hold on. There's some things I need to unlearn. that I did for 25 years. That's a quarter of a century. You're not going to be able to fix it overnight. You have to give yourself time. You have to give yourself grace. You have to know that, you know, like, you are human and you are flawed, and there's no such thing as you being anything other than that. But
yeah,
you work and do work to become a person who is less likely to hurt others, who's less likely to hold the spirit of unforgiveness or envy or greed or anger or resentment or condemnation. You can be less of those things through practicing the opposite of that, of what those things are. And then the likelihood of those things coming to the surface when you're in a situation that is prone to bring out those emotions, you can pick up something else, which is grace and forgiveness and patience and unconditional love and understanding and multidimensional to think, empathy, all those things. So I just think it comes, like, life is, we're all just figuring this out. We're just winging it until our number gets called. And
I guess like COVID.
Our fellow, you know, our peers' lives better by being in them. Otherwise, to me, I think that's the waste of a human experience, is not leaving things better than you found them. I think that's really the only reason why we're here. Everything else is cool, but it's like, no, you're really here to leave people and things better than you found them. And everything else is just like a perk.
Wow. A word. No, Mom, but I like having these conversations, man. These real conversations with you all. You know, it's just refreshing to hear their side. Like, yes, these people went to school. They went, you know, and did other things with their lives. It's not just some meatheads on the show who just don't have nothing in their brain, you know. But All Stars 3, who were you most excited to see? Well, I probably already know the answer to one, but and who were you least excited to see?
Most excited, I feel like it was really all of them, because majority of the cast I had never met. I had only seen glimpses of them in, like, because I really didn't watch the show back in the day. So I had knew of Tina, I had knew of Veronica. You know, the last time I saw Jimmy was on Exes 2. The last time I saw Wes was on Exes 2. So I was super excited to see them. I adored them both. But really, I was excited to meet all of the new people. I was hopeful that they would give me an opportunity to judge me based on how they met me and not what they had heard or seen from years prior. And I felt like I really did get that from all of them.
Okay, that's good.
That was really nice. And then as far as, like, least likely to see, like, the heist challenge. Anytime we saw a crane, it was like, I knew it was gonna be a bad day. I don't care if it's heights over water. I don't care if it's heights over a building. I don't want to do anything off the ground. So anytime I saw a crane and I saw David work on his, I was not a happy girl.
I don't know what it is with Black people with heights and some swimming, you know?
But when I would see the crane, I was like, well.
And
it was crazy. The fact that I did there was like a heights challenge a few episodes ago that I did, which you don't know about because you haven't watched the show.
Well, I lied.
I actually did it. I was crying hysterically the whole time, but, like, I did it. And then we've got one coming up in the next episode, which is, like, I mean, it was just so insane. So yeah, you'll have to catch up and watch that one as well.
After I get the password, right? But okay, cool. Anybody on the show that you were surprised that you got along with?
No, I get, like, here's the thing about me. I can walk into any room and connect with people. And I think it all has to do with the fact that I'm not afraid of differences. I know that everyone's not gonna like me. I'm not gonna like everybody, but again, establishes mutual respect and desire to treat each other well and get to know each other. And so when that's at the foundation, I feel like even if somebody like just was hell bent on, oh, I don't like her, that doesn't last very long. We end up laughing and smiling and saying I love you and that's it. I just have that gift, like of I will always give somebody my best, and I expect their best in return. And you know, it's just I think it's not. Sometimes you know, there's people who are just like not in a good space in their life where they don't want to be around happiness and joy and love and whatnot, and I can be annoying, or maybe they just don't like. I mean, it could be anything. Like, I don't expect people like you don't have to like somebody, you know. But I think that there should be a level.
You don't have to like me. Yeah.
Always. There's that to me is a non-negotiable. Respect. So.
I like your mindset, Miss Naya Moore. I love your mindset. Not like I love your mindset. When's your birthday?
January 20th, 89.
January 20th? Okay, I'm February 20th.
Oh no way! So you're Pisces. My dad's February 2nd.
Oh, so he's an Aquarius. So you're an Aquarius. So both of us, because
I'm on the day it changes from Capricorn to Aquarius. So technically, I'm Capricorn and Aquarius from when I've been told.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say, do you know much about like the zodiac and stuff like that? Because I'm actually born on the cusp too. So I'm a Pisces based on the date, but I also an Aquarius according to the thing. So I'm a cuspian. So as an Aquarius Pisces cusp, they have us labeled as what they have us labeled as? The cusp of sensitivity. So I could kind of relate to that because I can speak and relate with many persons. With all persons, actually, to be honest. I just have, I guess, that energy or that flair to do that. But yeah, I like Aquariuses. I think you guys are very intuitive, and the brain power in terms of creative ideas and loving originality and stuff like that, authenticity, the humanitarianism in you. I think I think that's very commendable of you guys. So yeah, because when I read some stuff about like Pisces, I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, that's cool. But when I read stuff about Aquarius too, I'm like, I feel that as well, So I could be a little detached or aloof when I'm ready, but I could also be like, little teddy bear, and sweet and empathize with persons and stuff like that. So yeah, the zodiac is pretty interesting. I actually did a video on my channel, Battle of the Zodiac. And Aquarius made it on. I don't think I included. I don't think I included you.
Yeah, the child. You bless your heart. It's okay. We'll get you right.
No, man, I gotta put you on season 2, man. You definitely made the cut for season 2, okay?
Look, when they come back for All Stars 4, or if I go on the other channel, I need you to have watched it religiously before I pull up here.
All right. I give you that. All right, I give you that for sure, though. But yeah, okay. Pardon?
One more question, because I have another interview that I have to get ready for.
A good one. Dun dun dun. Okay. What can I say? Would you do the flagship show again? Yes. Thank you. Say it. Say it.
I
Say
want
it.
to.
Say it. Say it. Let the people know.
Yeah. I mean, I would. I will. I'm assuming maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, now that I know, I'm capable of going into that space, I think, and handling myself, I think. I mean, I'm just not going to say never anymore. So I will say this. If I do intend to go back on that, I am going to be in ridiculous shape. I'm not showing up thicker than a bowl of oatmeal like I did on All Stars 3. Like, I'm about to train.
Yeah, but some guys will there be like oatmeal. No, nothing wrong with no oatmeal. But I got you though. I got you though. Okay. So everybody, she would definitely do the flagship show. And the flagship show needs a facelift, to be honest, because it's very dry. These rookies that they have coming on, the fact that fans are really gung ho for Paulie and Cara to come back says to me that the show is in dire need. I love Cara and Paulie, but I've been saying they need to be back in the show. But the fact that everybody has now switched their tone to have them back on, it serves as a desperate cry for the challenge to do something spectacular. But definitely, it definitely needs a boost. But I told one of my boys, we actually do these as well, like have Zoom calls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He lives in New York. I have another one. He has a channel as well, Challenge Express. We talk about the challenge, and I told them that if season 40 does not come equipped, ready, locked and loaded and booming, that's me. I hanging up the challenge for good, and that's that. If you can't get it done by 40 to make it good and interesting again, like a Renaissance type of feel.
First of all,
I don't want it.
Anything for 38 seasons is like unheard of. So we got to give credit's due, number one. And two, like, I think that the network is up for the challenge. They know that it's kind of like hit a plateau. And I think that they're going to start really digging into their creative bag and coming up with some that, like, okay, like let's go back to like yesteryear and how this show became such a big hit. What were we doing then? Let's tap into that. Let's really pull from that. And then just turning it up a notch, I think, in terms of competitiveness, like, and the stuff that the challenges, I think if they just, it needs to be something like the best of the best at all times.
I agree.
And it would inspire, I mean, the best of the best in terms of physical capability, like personalities and who's in the house or who's great in interviews, who's gonna be willing to go in that and get in a dogfight every single day because that's the type of competitor they are, whether they win the money or not. You know, that kind of like putting dogs together for sure, going to turn the lights on, pay-per-view every time they step on the field. That I think it'll also inspire people who don't really just go through the motions and just show up for the guarantee money to train, to get into the proper shape if they want to get the call.
True.
To prove that they like, even if we had, you know how like in the NFL they have the combine. Challenge had that. You had to get cleared. Like you had to be able to lift a certain amount of weight or run a certain speed or, you know, bust through a wall or do whatever. Or they just like eyeballed you, like what you look like physically. Like just look like you've been working out, look like you train. Like what's your lifestyle like? If it was that serious in order to compete to where we were almost at the same level threshold as professional athletes, I think when you elevate in one area, like you're gonna elevate in other areas, especially viewership. You see now people are like, oh, this is, and then what they can push us to do if we're all at high levels athletically and physically, then there's so many other things that we can do that you can push us to do versus if you have people that, it's like, damn, that might die on a mountain, because and I was a girl that was wasn't working out. I was vaping all the time. I was just going through the motion.
Yeah.
My job, all I was doing was eating and I mean, I had since gotten in tunnel vision. Like I am in yoga and Pilates twice a day. I'm having to start out very, very slowly. Because I recently had a health scare, which I won't get into now because you have to invite for that. But I am gonna start, playing volleyball again and boxing and going for runs and swimming and stuff.
That's what I wanted.
I think if my lifestyle is a reflection of like what my goals are in the next like 6 months, when they do call me, I won't be panicking. Like, oh, shit, I'm not ready. That's what I was on All Stars. I'm like, I haven't touched a pair of sneakers or done anything in so long. I just was enjoying my summer traveling all over the world with my job. And I didn't think I was going on this show. So I really didn't have time to train even if I wanted to. And I tried to like in 30 days of like working out, which really didn't do much. But I just think now it's like, I'm in a position where I don't know when the next call is going to be. So I should live my life as if it's going to be tomorrow and do the work and train and, get in good shape.
That's good. And that's what I wanted to talk to you earlier on. I know we don't have time, so we probably could talk about that because I know you say, what happened?
After you watch the season.
No, what did you say?
I said, we'll talk about that another time, but it'll have to be on one where we do like a season recap after you watch the season.
Wow. Wow. Well, hey, how about this? I'll put your pinky up. Put your pinky up. I'll hold you to that, okay? Let's do a season recap.
You don't want the work. You don't want to got the homework to do. What you gonna hold me? Oh my God. You know what I want to say? My people. No, I really want to.
No, but I appreciate us for doing this, man. You being comfortable, just speaking with me. This is what I want from everyone I speak with, But before you leave, I want the people to know where we can find you, what business ventures you have, or just anything that you want to promote. You can say that right now before we close.
So I don't have much to promote right now, but hopefully that changes soon.
Okay.
I have my Instagram, which is where you can catch anything that I do in my daily life, my travels, my food and my recipes. It's all on my Instagram, which is The Real Nia Moore. Same as my Twitter, even though I just primarily am on. And then I have a food blog, recipe blog, because I'm a cook. I have not updated it in a really long time, which I promised myself I was going to do this week, but that's Beauty and the Feast with an S on the end.
All right. Are you a good cook?
That's it.
Good cook?
If you went on my Instagram like everyone else in the world, I can't even entertain. I'm not entertaining back in like church. Like, I'm gonna need you to step it up. This next interview, you like mother Barbara Walters. I want you to you start saying like everything.
You like put some respect on me. What you mean if I was a cook? Come on, man. Come on, but it was such a pleasure talking to you, man. I hate that we have to cut it short, but you're the one with the busy schedule. But but yeah, Nia, it's been so good. Let's definitely do this again. Like I said, I'll come back with my homework after I get the password. And yeah, so everybody, thank you for watching Challenge Centric. I'm Daniel. This is Nia, and peace.
Bye, guys.